Hello, kind people. This is Dmitry. Welcome to my weekly listener recap. As you maybe can see, I am in a hotel. I'm in Southampton, and I don't have my microphone with me, so I have to make do with the built-in camera microphone, which is less than ideal, but I hope it works. So the puzzle today is on your screen. It is called Mounts, and it is by pointer. And one thing that you may notice straight away is that instead of having this looks like a carte blanche, but you do have rows and columns numbered. And if we scroll to the actual clues, we'll see that they are indeed numbered by rows and columns. And this is some kind of a pointer puzzle's trademark. And before tackling this one, I think I want to show you the very first pointer I encountered. That was in the Magpie, and I think that was in my first year of solving Magpies, and also I think it was fairly early in the year. So it was one of among my first maybe 20 Magpie puzzles, and it was a prize puzzle for that month. I think I'll check this in a second. And that was an absolutely stunning construction and set a bar so high that ever since then I expect brilliancies from pointer every single time. So let me try and get that on your screen. I don't think I will go straight to the solution. So this is how I solved it back then. This is from, yeah, it is prize puzzle, as you can see. So I'm not going to discuss it in great detail. I mean, feel free to pause here and read the preamble and try to sort of understand what's going on. But the main thing is that at the end, in the end, like, this is what you submit. And this is not just some random beautiful pattern. This is exactly the pattern from the roof of this building that is written on the grid, and which comes from a very famous winemaking region of France and is associated with some, I mean, it's been 3 years ago I solved it. I can't remember what exactly, either some wine contest or I should have prepared better for this. But anyway, so I think I can also try and put on the screen the official Magpie solution to this, which is here. And as you can see, oh yeah, yeah, an outstanding charity barrel of Grand Cru was auctioned at this building in 2020. The building has a striking roof design of colored tiles, hinted at by the two include entries, and so you can see this is the roof, and which features this exact pattern. So yeah, so this is probably still one of my kind of highlights of my Magpie puzzles of kind of all time. And by all time for me is not that long. I started in 2022 in January, so it's 3.5 years. But still. So anyway, with these sort of expectations, I approached the current listener by pointer called Mounts. Oh, and obviously, as you can see, maybe one final comment is in this puzzle you also had this numbered rows and columns, and I don't know why other setters do not do this. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's not making it as hard as a carte blanche, but declutters the grid significantly, and so and allows, I guess, some other thematic devices that are dear to pointers' heart. So, okay, so let's read the preamble of this one. Column 7 will contain two historic people's names, and indeed, if you can see, column 7 is unclued. 6 across clues need a word removed to enable solving. The words can all be linked to a theme word, 6 examples of which are hidden in the grid as potential mounts. After filling the grid, cut it into 3 pieces and reposition one of them, 20 cells, so that all cells are visible and each of the 2 people can be seen similarly to the original theme as one of the 6 mounts, and highlight the 2 chosen mounts. Bars needn't be shown. Chambers Dictionary is the primary reference. So I solved it on paper, although as you will see for the final step, I kind of had to do it on the computer because I just was lazy. But I don't have this paper with me here in Southampton, so I don't think I have like all the comments. And specifically, I'm not sure I can easily reconstruct the extra words now. I can try to because I remember quite a lot of them. Like for example, oh, and apologies for the camera, I need to take this thing out. So let's have a look at something like 13 across, second one. Passive pump used by container terminal. And passive is inert. And so clearly that means that the word pump is an extra one. And so this is one of them. And let's see if I can remember any of the others. Heavy metal engine at college, it introduces an event. So heavy metal is this, at college is up, and so lead up is something that introduces an event. Here's another one. So anyway, I think with this one, I kind of want to, so the grid fill was not too hard. And I think I want to move swiftly to the end game because this is where it became very tricky. So when you fill the grid, you realize that in column 7, you have Barnum and something which I struggled with for some time. I tried Dio, I tried Oma, I tried Yo, I tried whatever. Also, for my 6 words, I thought that horse sounds like a right kind of a right word that is linked with them because there are things like engine and pump and whatnot. And so at some point I just Googled Barnum horses and I found the theme. And of course, this was not the way to do it. The way to do it was just to realize that if you read the rest of the column backwards, you see Sam Lloyd there. And to confirm that this is what you have to see here, one of the clues actually references. So Lloyd E.G. here is actually Sam. And so okay, so let's have a look. This is the second of the 10th. So what do we have here? Rap, I think, was the first of the 10 because that's the chat. And the second, I think, was puzzler. So how does that work? Oh, yeah. I think this is how it works. So puzzler here is the definition. Sorry, it doesn't clue Sam. But rising up is PU, and then you get sizzler, which is a hot day, and you get is turned, which is SI, and you take it off hot day, which is a sizzler. So it's amazing how much you forget even like 2 days after you solve the thing. Well, 3 days. So anyway, what you then realize is that you Google them together and you realize that what actually connects those folks is a certain puzzle, and the puzzle is this one. So I knew of the puzzle's existence. I mean, this is a picture that brought back some memories from my childhood. I think it was in one of those like puzzle books that I had, entertaining maths or something. I can't remember, but and I definitely remember this dog kind of which one? This variation about the dead dog. I think more than the donkey one, but I think I saw the donkey ones as well. And so so how does it work in the original version? So you need to cut out these rectangles and then you have to reassemble them such that the two jockeys appear to be riding the two donkeys. And the way to do it is helpfully presented in Wikipedia here. This is how you do it. So now back to our puzzle. Back to our puzzle. So what does it say then? So after filling the grid, we need to cut it into 3 pieces and reposition one of them of 20 cells so that all cells are visible and each of the 2 people, so Barnum and Lloyd, can be seen similarly to the original theme on one of the 6 mounts and highlight the 2 chosen mounts. So first of all, there are a bunch of donkeys hidden in the grid. Some of them are names of the famous donkeys, some of them are just words for donkeys. So Burrow is a donkey. Modestine is a donkey in Stevenson's travelogue. So this one is a famous donkey from Winnie the Pooh. This is yet another donkey, and I can't remember. And then Benjamin, I think, is the other one. And I can't remember what was the other one. I think the word Cuddy is also a donkey. And I'm not even sure I found the correct ones. So, and now you somehow need to do something to put Lloyd and Barnum on top of, well, riding the donkeys. And this is not easy at all. So first thing you realize, if you try to cut rectangles and somehow reposition them, given that the grid is 13 by 13, that is 169 squares. So if you try to cut out 20 of them and leave the rest as, so any hopes of kind of doing it in a reasonably symmetric way by cutting out a rectangle and then repositioning the rest, it just doesn't work, right? Because, I mean, the 149 is an odd number, and so I don't know. I mean, I thought about it for a while and I struggled. Then second thing I realized is that, like, these 2 folks together are 13 letters. So somehow we can't really cut out them because they're just 13. It's hard to understand how we can cut out them. Oh yeah, and the other thing is that when we reposition, we can't put sort of squares on top of other squares, right? Because it says all the cells are visible. So how do we do something that keeps all the cells visible, but still, you know, makes them ride the donkeys? And then at some point, it sort of dawns on you that the fact that these 2 are kind of almost symmetrically positioned, but not quite, right? It means something. And at least you can probably, then you realize that this square, like hollow square, this is exactly 20 cells. And once you realize that, then you can kind of think that if you cut this square out, that leaves the inner square of 16 cells, then the outer bit, which is kind of a square with this hollowed out off-center thing, and the strip itself. And then you realize you need to rotate this strip. And of course, the beauty here is that if you write your Z's like this, then by rotating them, they turn into N's. And so this O matches with this O, and this now suddenly matches with this N. Now, you might remember at the end of my previous video that I actually transitioned from using capital letters to using lowercase after solving the Unch magazine. And this is exactly what I did when I solved this on paper, and that held me for so long during this end game, because obviously if your n looks like this and your z looks like this, it's a bit of a stretch. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see that you can rotate one of them and get the other. But this is what you can do, and so I think this is what you have to do. And so you rotate this whole thing. Luckily, in this software, I can do it without actually doing like this scribbling. And I think this is what you have to submit. Now, what do I think about all of this? To be honest, I mean, I find this device of like rotating and matching Z's to N's rather clever, but overall, I must admit I'm probably not a great fan. Partially because, like, what are all the other donkeys doing in the grid? Why do I have to kind of look out for them? Then, somehow the original puzzle had this magic that you have these two kind of unhappy donkeys and they suddenly turn into galloping ones. And this magic is sort of lost here. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, I find it very clever, but I don't find it particularly beautiful. So, this was definitely a very hard challenge, and many thanks to Pointer for that. But yeah, I mean, after like that roof of the French chateau, or whatever it was called, I mean, I expect similarly beautiful pictorial things at the end of Pointer puzzles, and this was just not it. But anyway, like I really think, I mean, all of these puzzles are just so hard to create that I should not focus on the negatives at all. And I really enjoyed like all the grid fill bit. I really enjoyed the clues. I think in particular I was quite happy with 3 down. Well, the first one was port personnel split during holidays, and I think I was very happy to get it from this, where I realized that what happens is personnel is HR, and it actually is split here during leave, and so you get leave and you get port. Maybe another like little story here is that part of this puzzle was solved on Saturday during the swimming lesson of my son, and I was watching it and I was also looking at the puzzle. And obviously during the swimming lesson, because there are like other kids around in the pool, you're not allowed to take your phone, which is basically just hold it in your hands. You have to keep your phone in your pocket. And that means that I didn't have access to chambers. And typically when I solve the listeners, I immediately open Chambers app, and I don't even try to do it without a dictionary. But surprisingly here, if sort of the universe forces you not to use the dictionary, quite a lot of clues were actually solvable without Chambers access, which was a great surprise to me. So listeners could be like that. I think there was one listener ever that I managed to solve like most of it without a dictionary, which is, I tried to solve Magpie A graders without one, but listeners are rarely that forgiving. So yeah, anyway, this I think is the submission grid. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about the puzzle. I'm quite curious to know, because I think, I mean, maybe I should also make a very final comment. So the penultimate point that I solved was the puzzle in the Magpie, which I did solve, but which also featured this extremely long grid stair and what I thought was somewhat unhelpful preamble. I think it I think made the comment that it sort of easily wins the most unhelpful preamble of the year, but by now I think that the puzzle by miles in the current edition of the Magpie might actually top point to that award. And yeah, I think maybe Pointer thinks that this is how kind of thematics should be about long struggle after the grid fill with some amazing penny drop moment. The penny drop moment was brilliant, but yeah, still probably not exactly my top of the year. Anyway, thank you for watching, and let's see what next week brings. Rumors are it might be in America. If it is in America, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Unless it's something really special. Thank you for watching. Bye.